Like,
Have you ever seen Predator? Do you think that Chris Hansen's the bad guy?
a lot of the times, yes.
The block stay hot. Cyraxx, shadow boxing, swinging at the air, undefeated in delusion. Reality don't care, Jupiter creeping, got the whole cruise ship. Predator rhymes got a band from the book. Josh Block got the hill, bottle in his clutch. Captain of a ship that's been sinking too much. Over Navy rattling, can't step to the throne. Worry top the mic, let them reap what they've sown.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Thanks for stopping by the channel again today. Once again, it has been a slow day for the cows. No Nova, no Tofia, no Cyraxx. So we're going to spend our time looking back at some old Cyraxx Marty footage from 2024. This was the part of the Cyraxx cycle that fell into the bargaining category. Cyraxx thought that if he was cordial enough to Marty for like maybe an hour, he could weasel his way out of everything he's ever done. Because you see, after years of threatening Marty with legal action, Marty fabricated some legal action that was going to be coming back at Chance, and Chance was dumb enough to believe that he really could face legal consequences for his dealings with Marty online, and was very scared about the possible ramifications of this situation. So he decided to parlay with Marty and negotiate with him and see if he could get out of it. And if you're wondering how that went for him, well, just about as well as you'd think. So without further rambling, let's get into it.
Hello, Chance.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Not too bad. And just to get it out of the way, don't worry. I'm not here to pull anything. I'm not going to be doing any dumb shit.
Oh man, he said I'm not here to pull anything. I really thought for a second there that he was going to say I'm not here to pull anything out. Because we know that's what he loved doing on these streams, is just whipping it out. But no, he meant pulling shenanigans, not pulling goblins.
I'm not going to be trying to get you porn bombed or anything. I'm not here to do that.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'd appreciate that. You know, it's not quite sure the laws of somebody like who hosts.
Well, like I said, yeah.
I stand corrected. He did mean that. He did literally feel the need to clarify to Marty at the beginning of this stream that he would be, in fact, keeping it in his pants. What a crazy thing to have to clarify. Can you imagine showing up to one of your friends' houses for a birthday party and being like, hey, I just want to say, I know what happened last time. Yes, I will be keeping it in my pants this time around. Like, the fact that you would have to say that in the first place would indicate a bigger problem, but I digress. It's Cyraxx we're talking about here. You can't apply logic.
Well, like I said, you know, and see, I even said this as well, and I do agree that there has been enough bloodshed on both sides, and it's time that all this shit stopped and we both moved on.
Yeah, I included that in the title. I was watching your video, and you know, I think it makes very salient points.
Yeah, and like I said, like all that I ask of you and your friends William and WordBoi is that you guys leave me alone and let me do what I was doing before all this ever began. Working out the kitty all day. That's all I'm doing.
Assaulting blind kids? Strangling your grandma? Sending unsolicited goblin pics? Getting yourself restricted from being alone with the dog?
And let me live my life. You know, if I want to stream, I should be allowed to do that. If I want to work on music, I should be allowed to do that. And just, you know, overall, just let me live my life, you know? Because
yeah, like, you did say something, you know, like so you've gone to another platform and you made a point saying that it's not illegal to speak your truths. And I don't think that it is illegal to speak your truths.
And like I said, you know, and like I told you the last time before I left YouTube for good entirely, because I'm not aiming this at you. I'm just aiming this, you know, in general kind of thing. I'll be honest, YouTube's in a very fucked up situation. Do what? Like, they're in a very bad place right now where they are allowing bad shit to go on their platform. And like I said, I'm not aiming that at you. It's not just the stuff with you or with me or William. Like, there's other shit going on with other YouTubers as well that's far bigger.
Yeah, let's keep this because those issues frankly don't concern either one of us.
Right, but like I was saying, like that's essentially why I left, because you know they're not taking responsibility for what's going on their platform and this and that. So I did. Essentially, I was like, yo, like I'm piecing out this shit. I don't need this. Like, and believe it or not, I'm not the only one that left. There's a lot of other YouTubers out there that have left as a result of all this garbage.
My God, what is YouTube ever going to do without Cyraxx? I mean, we're in the future, so we already know they banned him. They quickly lost traction as a platform. Within a couple of months, they went bankrupt. And now Cyraxx is like a superstar. He's the Mr. Beast of Odyssey, which is now the prominent streaming platform. Obviously.
Not with us, not with us, but with their own garbage. But
yeah, let's keep this micro.
But
so
like,
I will say over the past few days, like you've talked far more about me than I've talked about you.
Right, and like I said, you know, like the reason why I did that is because I was seeing like a lot of the stuff that was being said, and it didn't really sit right. So I was just like, okay, like if he's gonna sit here and do this,
anything over the past few days.
Well, I've been seeing a lot of the conversations in the Discords in the Discord messages. I've been seeing a lot of that stuff. And like I said, I don't know if that's newer, older. Like, I don't know. And quite frankly, I don't care. But like for me, that was new. So I was like, okay, if he's going to sit there and say this, then I'm going to speak my truth about what I know to be true. You know,
so
and, well, like I
saw you made an allegation that I've killed a dog recently.
The whole thing behind that was my friend said that you had stole their dog. Do what? And which I don't know if that's true or not. You'll have to take that up with them. Like I said, I don't know. I'm just going off of what they told me.
So I love that right there he admits, I don't know if it's true or not. I just repeated it to my entire audience, which even though it's small and barely exists, I perceive it to be very many people. I just repeated a heinous allegation about you, Marty, that I had absolutely no way to verify and didn't even know if it was true or not. I just repeated it because I hate you. But now, look, Marty, I'm just a man dressed as a burger coming to you hat in hand to say, please leave me and the 3 bottles of lotion in the background of this video alone. Please.
And they said that the other day, their neighbor that went to go get their dog because they found out where it was at because they had it chipped. They went to go find it. They found it at a truck stop dead out in the middle of nowhere practically. And they're aiming that at you. And they did show me the screenshots of like the stuff that you were saying. Like I said, I don't know. Like the only reason why I did that was on their behalf because I saw the screenshots. I saw what was being said. And when I saw that, it was like, dude, like, that's not fucking cool. Like I said, I don't know if that's like really what's going on. You'll have to take that up with them. But I did.
Well, Chance, I heard a rumor from one of my friends that you stole 5 cats. I have no way to verify that. I don't know if it's true. I don't intend on doing any research to find out if it's true. I just heard that you stole 5 cats, and I think that's horrible. And knowing that you're not allowed to be alone with the dog, I don't even want to think about you and those 3 bottles of lotion sitting there behind you that I already mentioned, but I really, really want you guys to cue in on the 3 bottles of lotion that are behind him. I don't know what him and all that lotion is going to do with all those stolen cats, but I think it's gross, and I think he shouldn't have done that.
You're accusing me of something that I didn't do.
Well, no, I'm not necessarily accusing you. I can only go off of what I saw.
I'm not accusing you. I'm just repeating somebody else's unfounded This is the fucking dumbest argument I've ever heard.
Well, I can only go off of what I've seen and heard. And when I saw the screenshots and I heard about what was going on, I kind of was like, okay, so this is actually a real thing apparently. So let me speak out on it. I wasn't necessarily attacking you. I was basically coming from the point of view of like, hey, this is what my friend showed me. These are the screenshots that I got. This is what they had sent me. So I can only go off of what they were sending me. I didn't have anything from your end or anybody else's end, so I couldn't really do anything except for defend my friend, you know?
By accusing me of killing a dog, which I had nothing to do with. Come on, man.
Well, like I said, you'll have to take that up with them because they have the screenshots stating otherwise. I can't say whether you did or didn't.
Look, Marty. The point isn't whether or not you actually did that to a dog. The point is that I'm going to repeat it either way, but I don't want to be held accountable for that. Basically, Marty, the rules are this. I can say literally whatever lie that I want about you, and you have to be okay with it. But Marty, if you say something that's true about me, I'm going to call you every slur I know. Now, I'm not very smart, so it's only like 3 slurs, but I'm going to repeat them a lot. I'll even change up the pronunciation of some of them sometimes, just to spice it up a little bit and keep it diverse.
Like, I cannot sit there and say whether you did or didn't. I was merely going off of what I was showed. That's all I was doing.
Okay, so what is the evidence? Like, do you have it handy? Like, I'm curious to see this.
There were screenshots of basically you stating that you had taken the dog and you were using it to test drugs or whatever to make sure they were safe or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying like because I did see the photo of you saying that you had adopted a new dog or whatever.
Oh yeah, so from what I understand, I was approached with an offer to buy a dog, and I didn't know the backstory of the dog.
Question, question: who did you get the dog from?
Well, if this is going to be a criminal thing, I'd rather not say.
Well, no, it's not going to be a criminal thing. Like, I'm not attacking you. I'm just trying to find out. Like, do you think maybe they could have stolen the dog and then approached you about it?
I think it's just as likely that they bought it fair and square. Like, how well do you know this woman?
Pretty damn good. Like, I've known her for about, I'd say, 5-6 years now.
Which means probably 2 months, because everybody that he's ever started speaking to, he backdates the friendship to when he was like 10 years old. They're his little brother. They're Sally's surrogate kid. He always has to try to legitimize these online buddy troll relationships as if these people actually care about him, and he's known them for a long time, or he's ever even laid eyes on them personally. So yeah, 5 or 6 years, we're probably talking about the last couple of weeks at best.
I know her pretty well. Like, and she's normally not one to lie to me. She's really not. And that's why I was like, hey, I didn't know that you bought the dog. I didn't know. I'm just being told, what I've been given. But that aside, all I ask, as far as like, the whole treaty and us, laying off goes, all I ask is that you and your friends leave me alone and let me go about my business. You guys don't attack me. I don't attack you. That's all I ask.
Okay, so conversely, you've been continuing to attack me even when I've laid off of you for the past few days, right?
Well, and I do apologize for that.
Okay. So, like, my main bone of contention is, and I agree with you actually, is it's not illegal to speak our truths, and you've been speaking your truths, and I don't know. So, like, as you know, like the thing that really agitated me and kind of kicked this into overdrive was you asking for naked pictures of Jamie after she died, right?
Well, yeah, and like I said, like I told you before I left YouTube entirely, like I told you, whatever I did to set you off, I apologize for that.
Okay.
But also, there are a lot of people that will admit that there were some things that you did go way too far with.
Get the fuck out of here. Who's the king? You are? Then run away now. And shut the fuck up. Fine. You win. You win. You win. Please let it go.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to say that I haven't at times.
Point being, like I said, we both done stupid shit. We both done fucked up shit. We both have said and done things that maybe shouldn't be said or done. I've never stopped doing it, and I'm never gonna stop. But at the end of the day, like, there's been bloodshed on both sides. We both like the whole fighting and starting shit, and you attacking me fighting back. Like, it does nobody any good at all. At the end of the day, all it does is it causes unnecessary drama. It causes bullshit, and it causes unnecessary, garbage on both sides. You see what you're doing to me now, Marty? Every day you make me want to do this, and I'm sick of it. I mean, look at what happened with you, and I'm not trying to throw this in your face. I'm just merely saying, as a cause of, what you did on your end, your ex-girlfriend, Saren, ended up leaving you because you decided to choose, and I'm not saying this to attack you, I'm just saying this in general, like, you decided to be a dumbass and choose garbage drama over a relationship with somebody that actually gave a shit about you. On my end, I ended up doing stupid shit, and I ended up losing a lot of friends as a result of it.
I really love how he will admit that he did certain stuff. Like, he'll admit that he whipped it out on stream. He'll admit that he called his friends out and made stuff up about them and all that stuff. But somehow, even though he was the one who did it, it's always Marty's fault. Like, he's always like, look, Marty, look. Yes, I whipped my goblin out on stream in front of 2,000 people 17 times. But it's only because you drove me to the brink of insanity. That's what people do when they're backed into a corner. They whip it out to try to get everybody away from them. It's a self-defense mechanism. I'm like an armadillo going into my shell. It's your fault for, like, saying accurate and kind of mean and pretty funny things about me in the first place.
So, like I said, there's definitely been bloodshed on both sides, and it needs to stop. So, as I said, I've already talked with CIA about it. I've talked with several friends of mine, and they all do agree that, what I'm proposing is actually a good idea, which is, you guys leave me alone. You and William and WordBoi and Jay and whoever else, y'all are like, basically, you guys back off. You let me live my life. Don't be going in and like false reporting me and doing this and doing that or any of that stuff.
Yeah, here's the thing, Chance. No one's ever had to false report you for anything because you actually do this shit. I actually don't know if I had to make up a lie about you. I don't know what I could make up as a rumor and say you did that you haven't actually done, or that wouldn't at least be like less ridiculous than something you've actually done. You've put fidget spinners where the sun doesn't shine, Chance. I couldn't make up something about you that was worse than that if I thought about it all day.
I can't stop anyone else from.
Well, you can at least, but that's the thing though. You have, believe it or not, dude, you have more power over those two than you even realize because they follow you, man. They follow your lead. They go off of what you say. I have noticed that. That is something that I've noticed. They go off of what you say.
Well, let's hope this goes well then.
And as I said, like, I'm not trying to make this like super long or anything, but listen.
You basically don't have time for this.
All I am asking is that
you can't be bothered.
listen, I'm not here to dick around. I'm here to get some shit done.
Okay. Well, then let's get things done. So,
as I said, all I ask is that you and your friends back off and leave me alone. You don't attack me. I won't attack you.
Well, so again, I don't have, if you're asking me to,
is there anything that you want to add in on your end?
Well, yeah. So, like, as far as like each of our truths, to say that I've attempted to murder you is not the truth. I don't. For one, I think there is no bullet. You know what I mean? Like, you.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
And this is just me speaking from an outsider's mindset, because I have been asked this a lot, and a lot of people have asked this. How do I know that it wasn't you?
Well, so,
like, where's the proof proving that it wasn't you when there's actually a lot of evidence pointing towards you?
So here's the double standard that Rax always applies, right? If you ever say that Cyraxx did something, if you're even going to open your mouth about it, you need to have rock-solid evidence, 50 different witnesses, signed sworn testimony, screenshots that aren't edited, but he's the one that gets to decide if they were edited or not. You gotta have all that, and it all has to be from the last, 2 weeks, otherwise it's outdated, if you want to accuse him of something. But then if he says anything else, he could just be like, Marty is a lizard person working for the Akron PD. We're supposed to treat that as if it's 100% true. And if we want to argue against it, it is our job to do our own research and to present him like he's the judge with all the evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Marty could not possibly be a lizard person working for the Akron PD. Cyraxx is always innocent until proven guilty, and also innocent even after he's been proven guilty many times. And anyone he doesn't like is guilty until you can somehow convince him otherwise.
It's actually in your mattress right now.
Fair point.
Like, it's either there or it's not there, right? And I know that it's not there. It was a rat trap.
Then if it was a rat, all right, let me ask you this. Then if it was a rat trap, then why are there photos of why are the photos of the mattress and the thing that the windowsill, why do those state otherwise? Because if it was a rat trap, a rat trap's not going to make a hole like that.
Can we see the window?
The window, dude, you've seen the photos.
Yeah, I was very unconvinced.
Well, like I said, those photos are 110% legitimate. Those were literally taken the day after I saw the video. Once I saw the video and my friend told me that, I was shot at, I went back, I watched the footage, I pulled the mattress out, and that's when I took the photos. So those are 100% real. Those are legit.
Yeah, I saw some paint chipping, there was no splintering of wood. It was just kind of
Oh, there was splintering of wood, but it was on the outside because we had a wood windowsill piece on the outside and it dug into the wood.
Chance, if a bullet was fired through your wall, how would it make a hole in one side of the wall and not the other side, but somehow make it into your bedroom? What are you talking about?
And it shot through the windowsill. So there was wood chipping, but it was on the outside.
But if it was able to come in and pierce your mattress, wouldn't it have came in through the inside?
What happened was whoever shot whatever it was, for the sake of argument, let's just say that it was a bullet. Yeah. So just for the sake of whatever. When you fire a bullet, what's going to happen is take the angle, the trajectory, whatever. Say you're on my neighbor's roof over here and you fire into my window and you're aiming for the mattress and you see where it's at, you got your target lined up. That bullet is going to dig in a little bit into the wood probably, which it did, and it's going to blast through that windowsill, and whatever's in the way, it's just going to plow right through. And unfortunately, the windowsill and the mattress were in the way of that thing. Hence why the holes were there. But
yeah, attempted murder is a pretty serious allegation, right? And so I
mean, the reason why I did bring that up is because you have spoken about it a few times before that in the past, and there were people that were talking about doing that. So I mean, you have to really think: is it really that far of a stretch to really think that when you're seeing people talking about it and people are saying that you're talking about it? Is that really that far of a stretch to think that?
Well, I mean, I would say that the proof would be in the pudding, and the damage is only on the outside, and it didn't pierce through to the inside, right?
Oh no, like I said, it did pierce into the mattress, but
the damage on there wasn't wood splintering. Bullet fired. It's a pretty fast projectile.
Well, like I said, dude, I've stated my piece.
Right. If there's any truths about you that you want to clear up with me, I'd be happy to go over it as well. And as you said, it's not illegal to speak our truths.
Right, and like I said, all I ask and all I've ever asked is that you and your friends leave me alone. That's all I've ever asked. And like I said, I understand that I've done a lot of messed up shit, but you also have to understand this. A lot of the reasons why I did what I did were as a result of how, and I'm not saying this to attack you, I'm just saying this, like, this is the legit reality of it. You and your friends pushed me to those points by doing the stuff that you guys did.
Like what specifically?
Like the way that you guys kept on attacking me over and over and over, and basically trying to turn my friends against me and doing this and doing that. All of that stuff that y'all did.
I just want you guys to know, every time he says trying to turn my friends against me, what he's actually talking about is just people letting people in his real life know what he does on the internet. That's all it is. They're not like making things up about him. They're basically just saying like, hey, Chance's aunt, are you aware of his internet presence? You should probably look it up because it's pretty gross. It's really not even like they're slandering him because, again, what would you even slander him about? What would you make up that's worse than what's true?
That's what led me up to acting the way that I did. It's not
Like,
that I
what's the
wanted.
options?
It's not that I wanted to, do that stuff. But it's like, Nick, listen, I'm here to make a peace treaty, man.
As am I. So like
We don't need to go into specific details about what each other did. The whole world already knows what we did. Me and you know what we both did on both sides. Like,
well,
you and I both did. We don't need to be going into specifics. I'm here to conduct business. There doesn't need to be any specifics about what each other did and this and that and the other. You have you have your side of things. I have my side. And like I said, I respect your side just like I know that you respect my side. But all I ask,
the bullet thing.
Listen, let's forget about that. You're getting off topic here.
Listen to him trying to control the conversation. No, Marty. I know I accused you of like the most serious thing that I could accuse somebody of. But let's not talk about that. We're getting off topic here. We're talking about how you said you were going to leave me alone. Remember? Like, he's just trying to gaslight him into giving him what he wants, but he's not smart, so he can't manipulate anyone.
All I ask is that you and your friends leave me alone. That's all I ask. And to show good faith, I will take down that post. To show good faith, I am more than willing to take down that post off my Twitter. I have no problem with that whatsoever. And anything bad I have said about you, I have zero issue getting rid of. I have no issue with that whatsoever. Matter of fact, I would say that I would take down the videos on my YouTube channel, but my main one I think is gone. And then the one that I had the other day before I left, I deleted that one myself. So there's no videos up anymore. But I am willing to, take down this post in good faith. But in return, I need to have your word that you will, because you can do it. I need to have your word that you will do what you can to make sure that William and WordBoi do not come after me. That is all I ask of you in return for me taking down that post and me leaving you alone is that you make...
Before you take it down, because I do want to have like a mutual understanding here. Like falsely accusing someone of murder is like a pretty big thing, right? Wouldn't you agree?
And again, I do apologize for that. Like I said.
Okay. So as far as like this might take longer than
come on, dude. Like,
what do you like? What is your schedule like today? Like, you think that like settling this?
Well, like I said, Nick, I gave you my outlook. I gave you my conditions. All I need is your word that you'll do what you can in order to make sure that they leave me alone in return for me taking down that post. That's all I ask of you.
Don't you think that like spending, an early afternoon is worth squashing 7 years?
Nick, I came here to conduct business.
Right.
Like you, I'm a business guy. I don't play around.
Yes, he's a very serious businessman, the owner of Hallow Hearts Apparel, well-known DJ, Shadowblade, successful Twitch streamer. He made $100 a couple years ago one time, and he was banned before he could get paid out for it. He's released multiple albums consisting exclusively of karaoke of other people's songs. He's a regular Mark Cuban over here.
I'm not here to discuss specifics and this and that and the other.
That's what business is done, though.
No, that's not how it's done.
Hilarious follow-up to that. I'm a very serious businessman, so I'm not here to discuss specifics.
When it comes to getting a peace treaty done, you and I both know that there's been wrongdoings on both sides. You and I both know that. We don't need to go into details at all whatsoever.
So now this is like a military engagement. We're drawing up peace treaties. We got to have like a Geneva Convention. He's accusing Marty of war crimes. And I just want to say, for how serious of a businessman / I guess president or maybe military general he is, he showed up to this negotiation meeting dressed as a burger.
I came here to discuss the details of the treaty. All I ask of you for this treaty, in order for this to work, is that not only am I going to show good faith by taking down that post, but all I ask in return of you is to do the best that you can to make sure that William and WordBoi leave me alone. That is all I ask.
Well, so understand that you're...
So what is it that in return for me doing that and taking down the post, because like I obviously stated what it is that I would like to see you do. What
Right.
is it that you would like to see me do?
I would like to be absolved of your false accusations.
And you are, as of right now.
Well,
The,
so
the, the minute that I apologize to listen, the minute that I apologize to you, you were freed of all that stuff. Like I said, I do apologize for the wrong things that I said, but you also have to understand that the reason why I did those things were a result of how you had treated me over the years. Because I'm not gonna lie, the way you treated me was pretty shitty. And even your ex-girlfriend Saren said that herself as well. Like, you have treated a lot of people like shit, and you have burned a lot of bridges.
I don't know
You
about
might,
that. I don't know about
like,
that.
like, you might not have meant to burn a lot of those bridges, but in all reality, you did burn a lot of bridges with a lot of people.
Well, thankfully, we've been able to repair those bridges.
Well, like I said, not all the bridges are repaired.
Speaking of Saren, do you remember when you threatened to like attack her kids?
We're not getting into that, Nick.
Yeah, Nick. Cyraxx is running this negotiation. He's a very successful, very serious businessman, and he's deciding what's on the agenda. And none of the insane, violent, vile, disgusting things that he's done are on the agenda, Marty. Your bullying, your bullshit bullying is on the agenda, Marty, and that's what we're talking about here today. That's it. Nothing else.
Well,
we're here to discuss what it is that we both want to see come of this. As I said, I've already stated my piece and what I want out of it. You've already stated one of the things that you want out of it. What is one more thing that you would like to see out of it? What is one more thing that you want to add to it?
I would like to know that you're actually serious about this and that you're willing to.
I actually am. As I said, I'm serious as a heart attack, dude. I left YouTube not only was I tired of the garbage, but obviously through my mom, and medical wise, like what I'm dealing with, I'm trying to get that healed up. I'm trying to go back to the way that I was before all this started. I am serious about this, and I know it might not seem like it, but I don't want to be spending 3-4 hours, talking about something that we can solve in literally less than 10 minutes. Because it don't matter. CIA is trying to get the stuff done and set up. Like he's literally right now trying to get it done. And in order for that to work, I need to know what it is that you want of me. Because as I told you in that video, you guys leave me alone. I won't attack you guys.
Well, what I would like is peace. Okay, but in order to get there, I think there needs to be and I'm willing to take accountability for the things that I've done to you. Right or wrong, I'm more than happy to go over everything. And Chance, remember, this has been 7 years here. We can't. This isn't just a snap of the fingers. No,
for me, it kind of is a snap of the fingers kind of thing. Because CIA takes this serious. He wants this stuff.
He's always holding up CIA like a weapon, as if CIA is gonna any moment now use all of his special police connections to get all the trolls thrown in prison. But like for any of you guys who saw the last live stream that I did, every time he brings CIA around, CIA is just like, yeah, Marty, I agree with Cyraxx. I think what you do is wrong, and Chance, you should probably call the police. Like, he's literally no help whatsoever in these situations.
I've dealt with. He wants it done and over with. Because, and I'm not trying to rush it, but you have to understand, he's working, and he's in the middle of work while trying to get this done. And I'm trying not to take up too much of his time when he could be working, you got to think about that. It's not just me on the line here. It's CIA and his job that I'm thinking about in this regard. Because I don't want him to have to sit there and take time out of work to write all this up and do this. And
he's put us in a position, I think, where we can succeed and reach resolution.
And
but to be honest, I don't know what more CIA can do. Like, the ball's in our court here. You can't just expect him to do everything for you. It's up to us.
Right. And as I said, I do take accountability for the fucked up shit that I've done, just like you do. And I've said this a million times.
I take accountability for all of it, which is why I don't want to talk about it. And why when you try to bring it up, I say, hey, we're not talking about that.
I do take accountability for the fucked up shit that I've done, right or wrong. Was a lot of it messed up? Yes. But at the same time, you also have to understand, and I'm not saying that you were raised wrong. I'm not, blaming you or your parents, but you have to understand the way that I was raised is I was raised very old school. You have to understand that.
Yeah, I was raised where your sister is your aunt and your grandma is your mom and your dad turns into your mom and your stepdad disowns you for being a little pervert. Real old school shit. We don't take showers here. Grandma takes you out back and hoses you down. And we don't go to the doctor if your tooth starts to hurt. You just take one of those Ed pills with your wet food.
I was raised very, very, very old school. All right. So, if you attack me.
Well, so as far as parenting goes, let's take a look at
Well, listen, stop. Listen. I'm not trying to get into all that, Nick. I'm not trying to. Nick, stop, dude. I'm not trying to get into all that, man. Stop, Nick. I'm not trying to get into all that shit, dude.
You just brought it up.
Listen, I'm not trying to get into all that. That wasn't my point to try to bring all that up.
Listen, Nick, I just wanted to say the thing that I think about it. I didn't want you to get to respond, you idiot. Yes, I wanted to talk about it, but I wanted me to talk about it, not you to talk about it. You don't get to make a counter argument. That's going to make me look bad, and I don't want that.
I'm simply, well, I'm not trying to take it that route, and that's one thing that you do need to work on, is you need to stop taking things, like, you need to, like, when it comes to stuff like what I said just then, you need to stop taking that at face value, because there are different meanings for different things. Like, you never know what someone's getting at. Like, you know, like, I don't take everything that you say at face value. Like, there's a lot of things that you say that might be.
Let me respond, like, in the way they're talking about me. Hang on. Is a rapist and a gay man, and she's
Nick, listen, Nick.
Yeah.
I'm not here to get, you know, into all that shit, because you and I both know that I'm not that. You and I both know that.
Let's talk about your dad.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that is fair.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't speak to him. And a lot of people think that I do, but I have nothing to do with them.
And there was the whole Blind Billy thing, but like your grandmother's fault, right? You see how this works, Chance? Like, you say things.
Listen,
like,
Nick, listen. That whole thing was between me and him when we were young kids.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to be bringing that shit up. You know, like I said, at the end of the day, I said a lot of bad shit. You said a lot of bad shit. And people ended up getting hurt as a result. You know, and not just physically, but, you know, and not, like I said, I'm not trying to pour salt on a wound here. I'm not. But what I am saying is this, you know, you lost your girlfriend. I lost.
But we are back together, just so you know. So that's okay. That's really
well. But point being, you know, like during that.
You see how he doesn't even know how to, like, feign sympathy properly? He's like, look, you and I aren't so different. We both went through breakups recently. And then Marty's like, oh, well, me and mine actually got back together. And instead of being like, oh, I'm happy for you, bud, he's just like, yeah, well, whatever. My point still stands.
That time period, you ended up losing her. I ended up losing friends and family members.
Yeah.
It's time for this shit to stop. Now, like I said, I've stated my piece. Is there anything that you would say? Hang on, stop to listen. Is there anything that you would like me to fill CIA in on? Because I do need to get back to him. He just DM'd me. Is there anything that you want me to tell
him? Well, I would tell him that I would like to thank him for putting us in a position to succeed. And that since you can't be bothered with actually hashing things out, that it was a failure. And I feel silly.
Nick, It was not a failure.
But
no, it has not. It has not been a failure, Nick. It's only a failure if you deem it so. Just because it's not taking an hour to 2 hours to hash things out, it don't take 2 hours to hash things out, dude.
A 7-year war? Yeah, it does. It actually does.
No, it does not, dude. I said my apologies, and I meant them.
So
question is, are you serious about this or not? Because if you're not,
I am. I'm dead serious.
Okay. Now let's shut the fuck up and listen.
Oh, excuse me.
All right.
Language.
Is there anything that you want to have put in? Like, is there anything that you would like me to do as far as it goes?
Hello, Mr. Hole.
Hey, I
just feel like we can't gloss over the comedic timing of "Hello there, Mr. Hole."
Add something real quick because I'm only listening to a little bit of this here and there. But if I'm going to be expected to, kind of draft up and draw up this agreement that you guys are in good faith both going to sign off on, I think it needs to be clearly defined. One column, Chance expects this to happen. Another column, Marty expects this to happen.
Yeah.
You both mutually agree to each party's set of demands. We execute the agreement and we go back to living our lives. I mean,
exactly, and that right there is exactly what I was trying to get at. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think you guys need to. I mean, I'd like for to just snap my fingers and make this happen, but I think you guys got to just kind of hash out the bullet points and make them clear and concise. Because to be honest with you, I really don't want to sit and listen to a 9-hour stream and try to pick and choose and then have you guys go back and forth with revisions and all this kind of shit. So yeah, just get it down.
I would say like I want to thank you for putting us in a position to make this work.
We're on the cusp of finally being monetized on the other channel that I didn't delete, and in order to pursue that and get Chance to do back to where he is doing what he does best, supporting his family, making a living doing what he loves and creating content for all the fans out there, we can't run the risk of having it being attacked relentlessly. So I think with this agreement in place, that's going to afford us the opportunity. I mean, the real deal is there's Rumble, there's Kick, there's Twitch, there's Twitter. The fact of the matter is YouTube's the only game in town where that counts. And Just a further point is that I have this thing going on with Shannon Kelly at YouTube right now. That could be something that we could squash as well. I know that you don't want to lose, your viewership and your channels.
Right.
I'm trying not to throw out just
Everything out there. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, I got to get back to work. So you guys hash out.
Give me just like 60 seconds.
Yeah.
It's such an uphill battle when even something that's clearly nonsense with this bullet thing can't even be addressed at face value. And honestly, like, what are your thoughts on the bullet?
Well, I know you had expressed a concern that there's this glaring piece of evidence out there that could be brought back to haunt you. And right. I know you're concerned about, somewhere down the line that coming back and biting you in the ass. I think the only solution is to dig that fucker out to show you that it exists. And if we're willing to let bygones be bygones with that bullet in hand, I think Chance would probably be willing to consider destroying the evidence.
And I would be willing to, like, I'll tell you this, and right here in front of the both of you, and in front of everybody watching, like I said, and like he said, if you're willing to look past all the bad stuff I've done, I'm willing to look past all the bad stuff you've done. All I ask of you is the things I stated, which is you and your friends leaving me alone. Now, like I said, I understand that you can't control William and WordBoi like that. I get it. But you are good friends with them, and you can at least talk to them and be like, hey, like, back off. He's not doing anything. Lay off. You can at least
Marty,
talk.
Marty, if you're willing to acknowledge, say, like this latest rash of like serial indecent exposure, if you're willing to like chalk it up to just a childish prank.
See, this is what's so funny about CIA is that he constantly slips in these digs against Chance into all of these conversations. But because he's coming into it from the guise of being on Chance's side, and Chance really does think he's like his best bud, they always go right over his head. Like, he never picks up on any of it. He just said, if you could overlook this bout of serial indecent exposure and maybe just chalk it up as a childish prank, which is obviously a fucking hilarious dig at Cyraxx. But of course, Chance is just like, yeah, there goes my buddy CIA defending me, being on my side, standing up to Marty for me. Love that guy.
I do have an update on that.
Well, and then hang on, give me 1 second. If you're willing to chalk that up as a prank, then I think Chance would be willing to dig out that bullet and toss it and say that it was a horrible occurrence that should have never happened.
Yeah, and I'm willing to do that.
Okay.
I am more than willing to, I'm more than willing to be like, hey, like, it was a screwed up event that, never should have happened. And as I said, Nick, like, I'm not trying to get into, like CIA said, I'm not trying to get into like a 9-hour long stream of, this and that and the other. Like I said, I've stated my piece and what I want to see come of it and what I would expect of you. I just need to know what you expect of me so that I know what to do on my end, so that I'm not out here doing something stupid on accident, thinking that it's okay when it's actually not, and us being back at square one.
Okay, well, I think that the bullet serves as like a great example of either something that really did happen or something that didn't happen. Before we go further into that, Chance, you remember that officer Aguirre? I don't know if that name rings a bell. He was the guy who talked with you about Yoda. Well, he's taking a keen interest in this, and let's not go that route. I don't want to go that route either.
Right, like I said, and that's why, like, in CIA, I'm sure is wondering too, what is it that you would like to put in this treaty so that we can get the ball rolling?
Well, I mean, I think like showing the bullet and destroying it, evidence of you destroying it is probably number one. Am I right? Am I wrong? I'm just spitballing here.
Well, like I said, the bullet, the specifics, like all that stuff, that's I'm not trying to like say it's bad or anything. I'm just saying, like, that's basically an irrelevant thing. But what I will say is this, because I already know that my family's not going to let me do that. But what I am willing to do is
his family's not going to let him do that. He has to run any treaties that he signs past Sally and Ed. 30-year-old man. And he's got to get a co-signer in the form of his grandma and her boyfriend.
I am willing to take down all the bad videos of me speaking ill about you. I am more than willing to get rid of those. And
they're all archived. They're all like, there's no getting rid of all of them.
Well, no, but I mean the ones on my end that I can personally get
it's still out there. It's still out there.
Not entirely. There are some out there that, like, there are posts out there that are not out there and archived. Like,
well, you know what? Maybe a disclaimer video, like a master disclaimer that denounces all of that stuff that's archived out there. Is that an idea? Is that an idea?
Yeah, I'd be one.
Yeah, like everything I said wasn't true. That Marty wasn't bullying me, and I pushed when I asked for those naked pictures. I pushed him to act the way that he did, and I take responsibility for all of them.
Well, no, we're not going to go that route, Nick. we're not doing that, okay? Because like I said, we're not going to be going into specifics.
We're not going to acknowledge any of the things that I did wrong that were way worse than anything you ever did. We're just going to quickly run through the gauntlet of the things that you did that I don't like. You can say sorry. You can promise me never to bother me again. And then that's it. Everybody can sign the papers and we'll be done.
We need to keep it basic, simple, to the point, as I did.
Yeah,
So
but
what about
Chance. One of the things, though, Chance, that I'm concerned about, and Marty, please don't take offense to this.
Okay.
We've had a lot of experience with certain people going back on their word, and I'm trying not to use things. I'm trying not to use words like delusion.
Yeah, I know.
But
I tell you what, Nick. Here's what I'll do.
Hang on. I think the specifics are important because that's what's going to protect us in the future from any of this shit coming up again. Otherwise, it could just be said, "Oh, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant," or that.
Right.
You know.
All right. So I tell you what, Nick. What I can do is, as soon as I hop off here, what I can do is I can do a live video recording on my Twitter account because obviously right now I don't have access to YouTube. But what I can do is I can make a live video.
No, you have access. You have access to YouTube.
No, I don't, because the password got changed.
Yeah, I did that to secure it. All I got to do is.
Oh, yeah, okay. But what I can do is as soon as. All right, so, question, am I able to upload yet or what?
I don't know how all that shit works. I'll give it to you. You can log in and see what the deal is.
Okay. So what I'll do is if I'm not able to log into there, just in case, what I will do is I will make a video publicly apologizing for everything that I did wrong. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, I apologize for this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. But I will say that a lot of the stuff I did was wrong. And a lot of the things that I said to you were very messed up. And that I am
completely false.
Not all of it was false, because there were some things in there that were true that did actually happen.
That some things I've said about you were true too.
And you're not wrong. There are some things that you've said about, me being an asshole sometimes. Like, that is true. I can't
say it's false, because I can't agree to that, because I don't think I've said anything that's false.
Well, you actually have, and you and I both know. You and I both know what those things are. But as I said, I'm willing.
So let's talk about it.
No, we don't need to talk about
it.
I
can't agree to that. Then.
Yes, you can. You just don't want to.
No. So give me an example.
What do you think, CIA?
I don't know. I mean, you know how I stand on the specifics. I think the more specific, the better, because then we can hold his feet to the fire if it comes to it.
Okay, so the whole thing about me being a pedophile, like, you obviously know that that's not true, because if I was, I would have been arrested that night. And
as we know, everyone who's ever done a crime has been immediately arrested for it. Nobody ever gets away with anything. That's why OJ spent the final years of his life locked up in prison, not playing golf and hanging out.
Let me finish. As the cops and detectives and even the FBI has all said that I am not a pedophile because no real harm was done. If I was one and I was actually out in the real world doing it, like, and I'm not trying to bring anybody else into this, but like certain people whose names I'm not going to mention.
Well, you can bring them up. I'll agree. But the thing is with that person is that they took accountability. Like they never.
As did I. And matter of fact, I'm glad you brought this up, because there's a reason why I do not go into specifics about what happened on my end, because I'm not saying that you'll do this, but I have seen this with other people, and I know how some of these trolls operate. Let's say that I did, go into specifics. Okay. Let's say that I did go into that. They would take that and use that against me. And I'm not willing to go that route of them being like, oh, but you admitted to this, you did that. Like, I don't want to have that extra attention on me. I've already got enough already going on. And I'm not trying to have them, use that against me. Be like, oh, but you're this, you really are this, you're blah, blah, blah. Like, that would make it even worse than what it already is. But as I said, I do take accountability for the fucked up shit that I've done in the past. I understand what I did was wrong. I understand that a lot of the stuff I said and did to you was fucked up.
And false.
And some of it was false, yes. No, not all of it, but some of it. Okay. But as I said, I am willing. Stop and listen. And listen. I am willing to look past it, and I do apologize for all that.
Okay.
Now, is there anything that you would like, or like, is there anything that you expect of me to keep the peace?
Yeah. So I understand you don't want to implicate yourself. This is simply between me and you, not stuff that you've done, but. All I'll say is that the things that I've said about you are true. I'm not going to get specifically what, and so like as far as the whole argument that you are something, like just because someone hasn't been arrested for it doesn't mean that they aren't that. Like people have to. Let's say O.J. Simpson, for example. Like
listen. Let's not.
I can't believe Marty also brought up O.J. Simpson. He really is just like the example that comes to mind of somebody getting away with some shit.
Go down that route. Let's not get into specifics. Let's keep it on track here.
Okay.
What is it that you expect of me? I've already said what I expect of you. What is it that you expect of me to be able to keep the peace?
Well, so, and again, like there's been so much over time, like, and I'm caught up.
Well,
I think it's fairly fine because I know
just tell me what it is that you expect of me,
I'd like to see a bullet, or for you to admit that it didn't happen.
Nick. I'm talking about what is it that you want to keep the peace. What? That's not a part of the treaty, dude. That's not how it works.
So, Marty, are you concerned, Marty, that 6 months down the line, you're going to have a knock on your door and be arrested for attempted murder? Is that a legitimate concern?
Not as far as people go.
Well, like I said, Nick, and I even spoke, and you can even ask CIA this. I told him straight up that whatever your concerns are about you going to jail, you don't have to worry about that. I'm not going to do anything to fuck you over. Because as I told him, and he can even verify that I did I not delete the other YouTube channel? Did I not leave?
Yeah.
That right there does verify that I am serious about getting back to my regular life. That right there does show that. And like I said, I'm very serious about this. As long as you and your friends leave me alone, I will not attack you, and I will not do anything to disrupt the treaty. All I ask is
for me to get a better understanding. Like, you were talking about, like, your old life. Like, to the best of my understanding, your old life was you playing video games, making music, like going on Facebook Live and calling people out. And
well, I wasn't necessarily calling people out per se a lot of the times.
You were.
The only reason why I did that is because there were certain people that I was dealing with at that time that kind of deserved it. But more or less, like I said,
like there's not, like, I can't really distinguish between your old life and your new life if you're doing the same things that you were doing.
The difference between my old life was that I didn't have to look good. Like, between then and now, the difference between my old life and now is with my old life, I didn't have to look over my shoulder every 5 seconds. I didn't have to worry about knocks on my door or my family being put in danger or, bricks being thrown through the windshield of my mom's car. Like, I didn't have to worry about any of that stuff. And now it's like I'm always having to worry about this shit. And that's not only is that unfair to me, that's unfair to my family. And ultimately, that's unfair to everybody that's involved. Like I told you many a times, and I'm not trying to attack you. All I am saying is it didn't need to get as far as it did.
I'm not trying to attack you. I'm just saying that everything that happened was your fault, and I've never done anything wrong.
Like, this could have been ended a long time ago, but as you said, on both sides, we both did fucked up shit, which landed us in the fucked up positions that we both ended up in.
Well, to be fair, Marty's not really in a fucked up position at all. Nobody has dick pics of Marty. Marty hasn't been caught in any PDF stings. Marty doesn't have a horrible reputation online as being one of the most hated people on the internet. Marty wasn't tricked into dancing and singing songs and parading himself around like a clown in a burger shirt for the entertainment of his bullies. You may have both done some fucked up shit, but really only one of you has consequences for a chance.
Well, yeah, you're more than welcome to talk about some of the fucked up things that I've done, things that you felt were wrong. Like, I'm more than happy to take accountability for it. Give me an example or two.
Like I said, Nick, you know what they were.
Well, I know. So I would say that it may have not been nice to rent an Airbnb in your town, but at the same time, I was just minding my business, and you came over.
Well, even you have to admit, Nick, you did kind of egg that on.
Well, you invited me.
Yeah, but I wasn't meaning it like that. Well, yeah, but still, but like, point being, Nick, all I want to do is get back to my regular fucking life. That's all I want to do, man. I'm not out here trying to, screw anybody over. I'm not out here trying to harm anybody. Like CIA said, man, I'm just out here trying to make an honest living for my family without being attacked. And I genuinely feel like, and like I said, I'm not trying to point the gun at you or anything like that, but I will.
Yeah, you actually have pointed a gun.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean. Like, I'm not out here trying to, force you to do this and that. But like, what I am saying is that when you did, because you and I both know that you did do this. When
I did do what?
Like, when you set me up for that whole shit with Mass Troll Mafia, that fucked up my life in a very big way. That even now, like, I have a lot of trouble trying to restore my reputation that I am trying to restore. And I get it. Maybe I shouldn't have fallen for that. I get it. I do get it. But at the same time, though, like, when you set me up for that ruined my life in a major, major way. And that right there is what started a lot of this. Now, as I said,
I want to say this. Like, so people have tried to contact me under the guise of like a child. As soon as I see that they're underage, like, I block them immediately, and it doesn't go any further than that. You know what I mean?
And I will say this, that, like, despite what the evidence said, I genuinely and truthfully did believe that she was of age, because that's what she had said to me on the phone call. And that's what I had believed the entire time. I did not know that she was going to do the screwed up shit that she did. Matter of fact, do you know who the person was that was in that photo that you sent?
No.
That was her fucking daughter.
No way.
Yes, that was her fucking kid.
He's been telling that lie for years now. It was never true. It's been proven not to be true many, many times. And the only reason that he says it is because he thinks that it's messed up enough that it'll distract away from what he did.
And that's how fucked up in the head she is. Matter of fact, you don't believe me, watch Turtle Boy's videos. There's a lot of videos on Turtle Boy where he's called her the fuck out on her shit. She is not a very liked person on YouTube at all whatsoever. She has done some very fucked up stuff.
So isn't her kid like 14 or something like that? Or wasn't she at the time?
I don't know.
She looked it.
The very subtle "she looked it" is perfect there. What a good way to loop it back around to what the actual problem was in the first place.
I want to say yes, but like I said, I'm not 100% sure. But I will say this, that she has had her kids taken by protective services multiple times for choosing drugs, alcohol, and abusive relationships over her kids. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but last time I checked, it was at least 6 different times.
Yeah, I don't think it was her kid. I don't.
Yeah, that was her kid, and she did verify it. Like, she did verify in one of her streams. I forget what stream it was, but there was one a while back where she was talking about it on the side, and she had brought up that was actually a photo of her kid that she did that to. But point being, that whole situation, like I said, I understand that maybe I shouldn't have fell for it. I get that. But at the end of the day, like when you had her do that to me,
I'll say this, like, she asked, I didn't pay her, I didn't put her up to it. She asked, like, I was thinking about doing this. Like, I was thinking about posing as a child to see if Chance will fall for it. And
then why did you tell her no, don't do it?
I wanted to see what you would do.
Then that right there makes you partly responsible.
Who's more responsible, me or you?
You, because you're the one that set it up.
No, she asked me.
It does not matter.
Wait a second. So how am I, Chance? So she was planning on doing this on her own. She asked me, like, what do you think about this? I'm like, well, I'm curious to see what I'll do. I was hoping that you wouldn't do it, but you did.
And as I said, I was in the wrong for falling for that, and I understand that. But at the same time, you should have been smart enough to be like, hey, don't do this. It's not going to end well on either end. Like, you could have stepped in, but you didn't. And that right there is where your fault was. You could have stepped in and stopped her, but you didn't. And as a result, that fucked my life up. Like,
have you ever seen the show To Catch a Predator? Do you think that Chris Hansen's the bad guy?
However much laughing I left in, I just want you guys to know how much I cut out. I need to play that again because it's maybe one of the best lines I've ever heard Marty say.
You could have stepped in and stopped her, but you didn't. And as a result, that fucked my life up. Like,
have you ever seen Predator? Do you think that Chris Hansen's the bad guy?
A lot of the times, yes, because and here's why I say that.
Because you're on the other side of that equation every single time, Chance, and you don't like the idea that there's somebody out there hunting for creeps like you? I mean, Chance, if I were a dog, I guess I wouldn't like animal control either, but that's kind of the problem, is that you're admitting you're the dog in this scenario.
I understand that he's trying to go after bad guys, but he himself is a bad guy. He's actually got caught doing very fucked up shit. And I mean, oh yeah, Chris Hansen's gotten busted on several shit.
Like what?
Oh, dude, I'd have to go back and look. Like, there's a bunch of shit that he's done that's fucked.
I gotta be honest with you. He's one of my heroes. I think that guy's the best.
The guy actually owes me a mug. He got caught in like some kind of a GoFundMe scam, and he took the money and ran.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so like he had this like GoFundMe Kickstarter thing that he, like you could pledge a certain amount of money, and I think it was like $25 or something, and I was owed a mug, and I never got it. However, with that being said, I still think that the people who go places to have sex with kids, even though I've been personally,
I'm not saying that what these people are doing is right. I'm not saying that what they're doing is wrong, and they should be, busted for that. But there's a difference between doing it in real life and getting tricked by somebody that is of age over the internet. The reason why there's a difference is because I would not and never would go to do that in real life. I don't do that shit.
No, I would just do it online, where I could send pictures and not have to go outside and possibly get accosted by like Gordon Flowers or Alex Rosen or Chris Hansen or somebody like that. I don't want to take any of the risks. I just want to send the pics.
I want to fantasize about it.
No, that's not it. I fell for a trick that I should not have fell for, and I admit that, I fucked up by falling for it, but at the end of the day, when I'm out here trying to do better, I don't think that it's fair that everybody else out there is trying to do this and do that and do this and do that, and basically trying to set me up time and time again, just to make me look like a piece of shit because they think that it's funny to make someone look like shit.
But if you weren't going to fall for it and you didn't want to do the thing that they were trying to accuse you of doing, how would you even look bad in the first place?
And that's literally another reason right there as to why I left this platform, because I've been seeing that go on so many channels. Like, dude, there are innocent people whose lives are getting ruined because of people doing that shit, and it's not cool. It's
I think here's a fair question, and I think it's be very, very telling. Chance, if this young girl reached out to you and she needed help, and she just lived like 10 minutes away, and you had a car, would you have gone over there to help her?
It depends if her family was home. If her family was home and I spoke with her family and confirmed like that it's a real thing, then I probably would see what I can do. But more than likely, no.
Let's say that it was the family she was having problems with. You know,
then I would directly contact them. I would find a way to contact the family and be like, "Yo, like this is what your daughter's telling me. What's going on?
Fair
like
enough.
this is what she's telling me."
It's absolutely insane how many different versions of this exact same story he's told, and none of them make him look good. Like, he's not even smart enough to ever tell a lie that makes him not look like a PDF. They all just make him look like different flavors of the same PDF.
And I need to know what's going on, because if there is something going on, like, I'm not trying to get drug into the middle of it, but something does need to give.
Yeah.
Like, and I will admit that, you know, like I said, at the end of the day,
how about alerting the authorities and letting them handle it instead of
that's probably what I would have done. It's probably what I would have done.
Yeah.
Right. Well, see, I'm always the kind of person, like, if somebody, you know, like, if I've always been the kind of person that, like, hey, if somebody reaches out to me and says, hey, like, they need help with something, I'll do what I can to help them. And as I said, and I have done this before, if they are a kid and saying, hey, like, I need help with this and this, my parents are doing this, I've always reached out to the parents and I've been like, hey, what's going on?
What's going on? Can I buy your kid? Where do they go to school? What time do they get out? Do you always get there right away, or is there like a window where maybe I could show up first?
Kids
like,
do talk to.
I don't talk to any, but I have, you know, I have had situations like that in the past where they have tried that. Like, they have tried doing shit like that. As I said, though, at the end of the day, you know, as I said, with the whole thing with Kate, was it wrong for me to fall for it? Yes. But also,
you feel that I'm more responsible than you are for it.
In a way, yes, but also at the same time, like I said, I do take accountability for me fucking up. I do. I get that I screwed up. But at the end of the day, like, you could have stepped in and said something.
I was hoping you wouldn't do it.
Then my question to you is this. If you knew she was going to do that and you knew it wasn't right, why didn't you step in and say something?
I was hoping that you do the right thing and say, I'm sorry, but you're a child. I don't want to talk to you. I don't have any reason to communicate with you. And that would have been
Well, my question is, why did you not step in and say something? If you knew
I was hoping that you wouldn't go that route, you know, but
at the same time,
I mean, it may be considered odd, but it was a test of sorts, I guess.
Right, but at the same time, it was like, if you knew this was going on and you knew that it wasn't right, why didn't you step up and be like, hey, this ain't cool? That's what that would be like, you know, if one of my friends wanted to do that, I would step up and be like, yo, like, you probably shouldn't do this. Like, I understand if you don't like them, I get it, but I don't want to. I don't want to.
And I've actually done this. Like, I've left, you know, like a $20 bill out somewhere just to see if somebody would take it. You know, do you think that's wrong? Like, to put someone in that position to do the right thing or the wrong thing?
I can honestly say I'm definitely on the fence about that one. Like, okay. Yeah, it is wrong.
$20, the other is a child. You know what I mean? Or
right. But at the same time, though, the thing that what people don't understand, though, is that when the phone call went down, she did claim to be 18, even though she does not want to admit it, because she does not want to look like shit. And the reason I know she doesn't want to look like shit is because there's videos, like I said, of Turtle Boy basically calling her the fuck out on her shit. She's the kind of person that's...
Well, that sounds pretty legitimate. I mean, if you got called out by somebody named Turtle Boy, you'd better just turn tail and run. I mean, how are you ever going to be respected in the internet community if you've been called out by the Turtle Boy? I mean, it's not as serious as being shamed by DJ Shadowblade, but it's damn close.
Says like, oh, I'll beat your ass. I'll beat your ass. I'll get my boys after you. And then 5 seconds later, Turtle Boy makes a video going out there and asking her like, hey, where's your boys at? I thought you were going to get them after me. She's a shit starter. And I can honestly say, Nick, for your sake, I do hope that you avoid her, because she is not good people. Like, she really is not a good person at all. And I was kind of hoping that, you know, throughout this whole thing, you would have done your research on her and gone after her instead of me. But unfortunately, you know, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, like I said, I fucked up. I made my mistakes, and I get that.
Well, you're still blaming me for them, which I, you know, if you think about it, like,
well, like I said, to an extent, if you really think about it, to a certain extent, you are, because you did not, you know, get in the way and tell her like, hey, you probably shouldn't do this. Like, I understand that you wanted to make it a test. I get that. But there are other ways you could have gone about it that wouldn't have fucked my life up. Because I'm not going to lie, like, that whole thing did make things very, very difficult for me. Like, now, because of all that, I'm always having to look over my shoulder. My family's constantly getting blown up. We're constantly getting death threats. I'm like, good God, dude, somebody threw a fucking brick through the windshield of my mom's car, for God's sakes. Like, that's going way too fucking far with it. Way too far. Like, and not only that, but having our car towed, trying to have our car towed several times. You know, just doing all this messed up shit. Like, it's going way too fucking far. And a lot of the truth has been blinded and covered up. And basically, you know, like, a lot of the lies are basically now becoming the truth. And the truth is now becoming lies. And that's not the way that it should be.
Reality has been bent, Marty. The threads of the universe are folding in on themselves. Don't you understand? Until you stop trolling me, we're basically just in a black hole. We're in the mirror dimension. Very serious things are at stake here, Marty. Which is why I need you to stop calling me a PDF on the internet so that the Earth can heal.
Yeah, another problem too is you got to stop having people go over there and like doing whatever they're doing to set their alarm off, because they're going to start getting billed for that every time the police have to come out.
Right, because do what?
Has the alarm been going off?
Not lately, but there was one time where I can't remember if it was me or Mom that opened the door and it set off a silent alarm for the police to come out, and we didn't know that they were out here until they knocked on the door, and like we had to explain to them like, hey, we just got this alarm system. You know, we're not.
We just had to explain to them, sorry, we're actually really stupid and we don't know how our home security system works, so we tripped it ourselves. Also, I don't know why we'd need a home security system because we have nothing of any value inside of our house. Actually, the best home security system we could possibly have is the public having the knowledge that Chance lives here because nobody wants to get the bed bugs that are inside. So sorry about that, officers.
In any danger, we're just trying to set up this alarm system because obviously, there has been people over here that have tried to steal shit over the years. But like, and another thing too is this. Is that the calling the police thing over here, that's got to stop, because not only, and CIA agrees with this too, and it is true, not only are you causing havoc for me and my family, but that also wastes their time on stuff that they could actually be doing. Like, instead of being over here, being like, hey, like, is this going on or that going on, and me having to waste their time telling them no, they could be going after actual bad fucking people. That, I mean, good God, just a couple weeks ago, there was a really nasty shooting down here in Ohio, in Akron.
Yeah, 24 people.
Yeah, exactly. And they could be taking care of stuff like that, but instead they're over here wasting their time over some internet drama.
All right, Chance, so the obvious answer to that is you shouldn't be calling them. It's not other people's job not to make fun of you on the internet. It's your job not to call the police when you're being made fun of on the internet. That's the obvious answer to this.
Like, it's stupid. It's a waste of time, and it's honestly a waste of resources.
Yeah, and I saw that post, Marty, too, where you tried to blame that shooting on Chance. I mean, everybody.
Well, one thing that I will own up to, all right, and I'm not going to go the route of saying, well, the only reason I did that was because you did this or that or the other. I'll say that was wrong. I have no problem.
Like I said, and I'm not trying to go that route either, but the way that my mind and the way that I operate is that, like, and I'm not saying this to be an asshole. I'm just saying this is how I am as a person. And I think everybody with a half a brain can agree with this, is that if you treat me like a person and treat me like a human being, everything's fine. But
no, if you're nice to Chance, he'll do everything he can to take advantage of you, either for your child or your money. And then the moment that anybody offers him even the smallest reward to turn his back on you, he will totally do that. So that's absolutely not true at all.
The minute you start doing shit and treating me like shit, I'm going to do the exact same thing to you. At the end of the day, you treat me like a human, we're good. You treat me like shit, I'm going to treat you like shit. I mean,
yes, your family tripped the alarm, and that's my fault, I guess. Like,
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it was your fault. I'm not saying
it's
that.
Also, it's happened a few times. It's just suspicious. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, it does. Is.
So
the only time that I know of, well, and obviously there's been more times than that, but like I said, the one time was our fault because, like I said, we were getting it set up and didn't know how to operate the damn thing, which thankfully we do now. But the other few times, it does seem kind of sus. But as I said, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to move on with my life. And like I said, and I understand where you're coming from when you ask, like, oh, what kind of life did you have before this? Well, I didn't have to look over my shoulders. I didn't have to deal with depression. I didn't have to worry about.
You did deal with depression before.
Right? Not as bad. Like, it wasn't as bad as it is now. Like, I didn't have to worry about, whenever a car drives slow by our house, I didn't have to worry about whether they're going to roll the window down and pull a trigger on me.
Oh my God, the goblin PTSD. Oh, the humanity. Can you believe it? He's having a panic attack every time a car goes by because he thinks it's going to make another rat trap go off in his room. I really hate more than almost anything else he does when he tries to pull this, like, I have anxiety, I have PTSD thing. He doesn't even know how to, like, describe the symptoms in a way that's believable. It's so false to me every time he says it. It's the most blatant sympathy baiting I've ever heard.
I didn't have to worry about cops showing up on my doorstep almost every other week at all hours of the night. I didn't have to worry about, there was a lot of things I didn't have to worry about. I was able to be normal. I was able to hang out with friends. Like now I can't even go down to the lake and go for a walk without the risk of somebody potentially seeing that I'm down there.
Yeah, so I just want to clarify real quick. This was a photo of Chance at his prom when he was in high school. He was never normal, and he didn't become abnormal because of Marty or because of the trolls. This pre-existed it all the way back to well before he was even on the internet. Also predating the internet, in 2012 he was arrested for strangling Sally. That's when he caught that charge. So once again, never normal. His crimes and his deformed appearance well predate his presence on the internet. He didn't get this way because he was just so mangled by his interactions with Marty.
Well, like to be fair, like I remember hearing like there's some police reports like about that guy who shoved you in the stop sign. There was the guy like who asked you for lunch money in high school. Like so, you have been getting.
Hold on. I know the dude I know you're talking about that Andrew dude with the stop sign, and that the only reason why they couldn't do anything to him, and I know this sounds stupid, but this is legitimately what they said, and they actually said this. The only reason why they cannot do anything is because he would not admit to it. That's the only reason why nothing can get done. But dude stealing lunch money from me, what? I never heard anything about that.
I remember reading a story, like I think his name was like, oh man, DeAndre something. Like, you know, and like you're walking up the stairs, like and he kicked you in the shins or something like that.
Oh, you're talking about, I know exactly what situation you're talking about. All right, so I don't know if you know this one or not, but there was a time where I was going up a set of stairs to go to class, and this kid decided that it would be funny as I was hanging onto the rail to trip me on the stairs. And when he got me on the ground, he yanked my leg through the stair railing and fucking slammed my leg up against the railing as hard as he could.
Well, Chance, that probably shouldn't have hurt that bad because it's likely based on the amount of time that you were in high school that he was like 14 and you were like 23 because you were there for 9 years at 2 different high schools. And you were a freshman the whole time and you never graduated. So I feel like you probably should have been able to defend yourself from high school bullies, considering you could legally buy alcohol before they could drive.
So not only were my nuts hurting, but my fucking leg was hurting too. And then the principal did end up.
I never want to hear him say that again. No, actually, it was kind of funny, so I'm going to.
Against the railing as hard as he could. Not only were my nuts hurting, but my fucking leg was hurting too.
I am going to clip him saying that into so many out of context clips. I just can't wait.
And then the principal did end up calling the police. I don't know. I honestly don't know whatever came of that, honestly. All I know is that they had sent me home for the day because they could see I was clearly fucked up. So they had sent me home for the day, but I don't know whatever came of that, dude. I don't know if he got suspended, arrested, charged. I don't know. All I know is that my leg was fucked up. My balls were sore as fuck.
All I know is I told the school nurse that my balls were sore and she told Sally to come pick me up.
And I was sleeping for the next couple of days. Not going to lie. I was not feeling too good.
I remember there's a story where like somebody put you in a trash can or something and like rolled you on a hill, or you're on a skateboard and they pushed you down a hill or something. Like
that was that was that Andrew dude. His younger brother thought that it'd be funny to push me down a hill because and I know you've been down here enough times, Nick. So I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. That big S-bend hill right there over there by the center. Yeah. I was standing up there on my skateboard because I was out skating that day having fun. I had stopped up there to just enjoy the view of the lake or whatever. His little brother comes up, thought that it'd be funny to push me down the hill. And so and I've gone down that hill many times. So I wasn't, unfamiliar with it. But when he pushed me, I went down the hill. I was like, okay, I'm going down the hill like I always do, no problem. Well, little did I know that one of my trucks on my skateboard would come loose, would go flying one way. I went flying forward and completely fucked up my arm. And as a result of that, I was actually supposed to work at
I just want to remind you guys that a couple times during this conversation, when Marty would try to bring up incredibly relevant facts, Chance would say, "We're not talking about that right now. We're not going to get into a bunch of details. That has nothing to do with what's going on here right now." And now we're over an hour into this stream, and Chance is talking about high school bullying injuries.
What was it? It was like one of the really famous haunted attractions here in Ohio. I was supposed to do that year, but as a result of
Chance, you are one of the really famous haunted attractions in Ohio.
Of my injury, I mean, my arm being fucked up, I unfortunately had to pass on it. And that pissed me off because I would have been making $100 an hour doing that.
100 an hour?
Because it was like one of the bigger, more well-known attractions. They had actually had a bunch of guys that worked in the horror film industry there for like, doing makeup, props, setups. Like they had a whole thing going.
That's the only thing that I could ever believe that Chance would make over $100 a day doing, is working as a jump scare in a haunted house. I absolutely believe that that would happen. Now, unfortunately, he can't because there's children in a haunted house, and whoever the owner is not going to want the liability of that. However, maybe if they put him in like a glass cage or something, or like behind some bars where he can't actually grab at anybody, he could be a terrifying prop in one of these places. If I went there with my friends, I'd leave being like, man, that one guy's makeup, what an incredible job. I can't believe they spent all that money to put that incredible, terrifying special effect on the entire body of that one extra. Very dedicated place, 10 out of 10, like a Dr. Pepper.
I don't know if they shut that down entirely because of the whole COVID shit. I don't know if they're still open. But as a result of that, I wasn't able to work that year, which fucking sucked.
Oh, did you do it other years?
I wasn't able to because by the next year, I had found out that I guess some legal shit went down with one of their employees and forced them out that year because they decided they wanted to be a little stickler about having their phone out at work, and you're not allowed to have your phone out while you're doing your job, obviously. Like, they wanted to make a whole fucking thing about it. And then my friend that got me linked up with that basically said, like, hey, because of the legal issues, they're not doing it this year because this person wants to take it to court and be a bitch about it, which was kind of stupid. But, I don't know if they're still doing it or not, because that was like right before, that was like literally like it was like a year. Yeah, actually a year right before COVID had happened. So I don't know if they're still doing that. I don't know. All I know is that I was excited to work that year. Goblins aren't allowed to have nice things or make a living. To do something I actually enjoyed and scaring the fuck out of people.
I'm just saying, like, as far as like looking over your shoulder, it seems like you got beaten up a lot more back then than you do now.
It's not that I got beat up a lot more back then, but like the stuff as it pertains to right now is definitely way more dangerous. Like, it definitely is way more dangerous because now.
Well, I mean, like, I'd say, like, a black guy, like, kicking you in the leg in high school, like, calling you.
All right, so let me ask you this. Which one's worse? Getting that and, going through that shit and getting over that? Or having to worry about every car that drives by potentially being someone that you don't want to tangle with? If you ask me, I'd say the car's a little bit more dangerous. Because a dude with a gun in a car, they could blast you and drive off.
You were never shot at, though.
I'm not saying I was, but there's always.
I'm not saying I was. I'm just going to bring it up in every conversation and try to bait sympathy by claiming I have PTSD because of it. I don't know whether or not it actually happened, Marty, just like I don't know whether or not you actually stole that dog. But what I do know is that I'm never going to stop repeating it because it portrays the version of reality that I want people to believe that I live in.
Is that chance? There's always that chance of that happening.
Well, sure, I suppose.
Like, especially given how, and I don't know if you know this or not, but as a result of like everything that's gone on, there are several trolls that have actually rolled up looking for me and have drove by my house and have posted videos talking about, oh, I drove by your house. Where you at? Like,
yeah,
there's a lot.
It's gotten so bad that, like, just the other day, they had people driving by, and poor Ed, now he's got video evidence. And the cops come and they tell him he's just being paranoid. And poor Ed has a heart attack over the whole thing because he just wants it to stop.
Yeah.
So I think we've already just like squashed one of the things off the list, like admitting that you never got shot at. So like that's progress as far as I'm concerned.
Well, as I said, like, I'm just trying to put a stop to this so I can get back to my normal life. Because I'm not gonna lie, dude. Losing my best friend of 17 years over all this stupid shit.
Zach Hussein?
No. My best friend Jake, the one that I used to talk to all the time. Yeah. Me and him no longer talk. And dude, that was my best friend at 17 years. That was somebody that was basically like my little brother.
Well, Mark, maybe as a gesture of good faith, you could reach out to Jake and tell him that you were responsible for all that bullshit.
It always comes back to old security Jake. Him and Cyraxx were just two ships passing in the night. Maybe one day, like the end of The Dark Knight Rises, they'll see each other in a cafe in Paris. They'll lock eyes and they'll just nod at one another. Only unlike Batman and Alfred, they'll go to the bathroom and make sweet, sweet goblin love as soon as they see each other.
I doubt they would answer because his dad is around. And I'm not saying this to you, Marty, but I don't know if he is watching or not. But to Jake, I love you to death, man. To your dad, I love your dad to death. But to Jake's dad, Vernon, Not trying to set you off or anything, man, but you do know that you can be a bit of an asshole sometimes. Not trying to piss you off, but just saying you can be a bit of an asshole. But regardless of that, still love you to bits.
Huh. So Saren asks, what is the first memory you have of being bullied / harassed, like as a young child?
God, that would be earliest memory for me. Would have to be probably
when your mom thought that it would be a funny prank. Probably when your mom thought that it would be a funny prank to light the house on fire. I'm sorry, that was fucked up. No, I'm not. It's Cyraxx. 10 toes, I stand by it.
The doctor smacking you on the ass when you were born doesn't count.
Yeah, that definitely don't count. That dude, that's every doctor, period, on the face of the fucking earth.
Why would he say that? He's like, yeah, Sally took me to a doctor like 2 years ago, and that doctor spanked me on the ass, too.
Maybe you should have been a doctor then.
Oh, God, no, are you kidding me? I can never do that shit. I love horror movies, but I can never do gore, blood. I couldn't do that shit.
Sure.
I don't do blood and guts and gore. Thank you anyways. Like, I can handle horror movies, but when it comes to, like, actually seeing that shit in real life, fuck that. I'm dipping out. I'm gone. But, like, the earliest memory for me was, I forget what grade it was, but there was a kid named Chris that had literally, he was like twice my size. And I must have been at least maybe 6, 7, maybe 8 or 9 at the time.
Chance, there are medium-sized dogs that are twice your size. You're somewhere between 4'8" and 4'11", depending on the police report you read, and somewhere between 100 and 115 pounds. Someone could be double your size and still relatively small.
I think. And for some reason, he just hated me, and he ended up, like, he pushed me around here and there, did what all kids do, but then just one day, he decided to snap and ended up punching me and ended up giving me a black eye. That was, like, literally my first taste of bullying that I can remember.
Cyraxx, don't say it was your first taste.
And then, you know, from there growing up, you know, I got like any normal kid would do, you know, shoved in lockers, fucking, you know, the typical shit.
The locker was roomy for Cyraxx. It was like walking into a U-Haul storage locker. He could literally spread his arms out and, like, stretch his whole wingspan in there.
But, like, I'm not going to lie. That, compared to the last 7 years, I will take that school shit over this stuff any day of the week. You see what you're doing to me now, Marty? Every day you make me want to do this, and I'm sick of it. Like, I will gladly take dealing with some fucking high school asshole that's a complete douchebag that I know I could fucking drop like a rock. I'll take that over having to worry about being shot at or this or that and the other any day of the week.
You know, a lot of time in schools, kids will get bullied, and then that kid himself ends up kind of turning and becoming a bully himself. Did you ever get engaged in any like revenge bullying or anything?
Oh, no, I don't. I've never been one to engage in revenge bullying. I've never been about that shit. I've never stopped doing it, and I'm never gonna stop.
Yeah, is it fair to say then, like, this has been like your entire life, like people having problems with you and picking on you?
To an extent, but it's always been because, you know, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but it's always been because I've always been smaller. I've always been different. I've always been that outcast kid that, you know, we've all got that one person in school that's an outcast kid that everybody fucks with. That was me.
Who did you piss off? It says Chance will diddle for free.
I was that kid. Like,
no, you weren't the outcast kid that everybody messed with. You were the outcast grown-ass man that everybody fucked with. Like I said, you were 23 getting bullied by freshmen in your fucking freshman Spanish class. That's not what most people mean when they say they got bullied in high school.
Even in high school, dude, like, while everybody else was, you know, off worrying about, like, you know, oh, I'm going to wear this, I'm going to do that. I was that kid in fucking school that was sitting there drawing on the back of his fucking classwork. I was that kid that was sitting there reading manga in the fucking library and watching anime on YouTube while
Cyraxx, you say manga and anime, but we know you mean lolly and hentai. Be honest.
Everybody else was fucking hanging out with the jocks or hanging out with the basketball team. My ass was either up in the library reading manga, watching anime on YouTube, or in the fucking music room hanging out with my friends. Like, those were my two spots, was either the library or the music room with my friends, where, you know, their bands, like, where their bands and all of them would practice that and have fun at. Like, those were my two spots. I never got into and I know it sounds bad. As a kid, I was the preppy kid. As a kid growing up, I was that preppy kid. And then,
yep, there he is, very preppy, all right. Can't you just see him playing polo in the backyard of the mansion? Very classy guy right there. I wonder if he's a Harvard or a Yale man.
When I got into high school, I immediately, like, I was automatically that outcast kid that everybody, like, completely screwed with for just...
Yeah, so, like I don't know, like, it seems like historically, like, almost everyone has had, like, a problem with you. Is it possible and I don't know,
like I said, the reason why they had a problem with me back then is because, like I said, I was always the different kid. I was always like it's because they see, and this is with anybody, dude. Anybody sees somebody like me, they're automatically gonna think, oh, that dude's an easy target. That dude's a target that we can fuck with, and that was their mindset back then. Is, oh, he's an easy target. Hold on, y'all. What is going on? Oh God! All over the place. We can fuck with him. And then, like, you know, once, you know, it got around, like, you know, to these last few years, like everything that went down. And, you know, me being, and I'm not saying this to attack you, but me being pushed around, I finally had enough. And I basically said, you know what? Instead of being quiet, I'm going to start fucking fighting back like I should have been doing this whole time.
Get the fuck out of here. Who's the king? You are? Then run away now. And shut the fuck up. Fine. You win. You win. You win. Please let it go.
So, like, the bullying started in school, like, as early as you can remember.
Oh, wait, hang on. How did we get to this point? Like, I thought we were talking about the shit that needs to be put in the thing. How did we get to this point?
We've gotten down one bullet point that there was no shooting. And like that's a good first.
At least not yet, anyway. I'm not saying that there's gonna be, but with these people, you never fucking know, dude. Because I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like, you might not realize it, but there's a lot of people that do shit in your name. Like, a lot of them will do stuff without you knowing about it. Like, there will be people that show up here and then defending you. And, like, it's not gonna lie, dude. Like, you've got a lot of people that are following you that are they're psychotic and they're not good people.
Is it possible that they just don't like you independently of me?
It's possible, but like I said, I don't know.
Okay, so
but like,
okay, so next question is, I'm wondering what normal you want to go back to before being bullied. So I'm getting like 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah, what's that?
So I'm just wondering what normal you want to go back to before being bullied.
The normal I want to go back to is, like CIA said, being able to do what I was doing, working off the kiddie all day. That's all I'm doing. You know, back.
So what he's actually saying when he says he wants to go back to normal is just that he wants to be allowed to commit all of his crimes without having the infamy that gets him caught. Like, he was doing all the same behaviors a couple of years ago, it's just that he was being left alone for it because he wasn't a famous internet predator yet. So he doesn't actually want, like, his life to be any different in terms of what he does day to day. He just doesn't want so many eyes on him when he's doing his bullshit. He wants people to listen to his music, but he doesn't want them to read his Discord leaks.
Back when I was working on my music, back when I was able to live stream, back when I was basically able to do stuff and not have to worry about being attacked, being stolen from, and just basically being treated like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the normal that, like, dude, and no joke, the CIA has seen the photos. I've showed him the photos. Matter of fact, Saren's even seen the photos. If you look at the photos from, you know, of me on my on my original Facebook, from before I got attacked, compared to now, physically wise, like, you can see a major difference because of all the stress.
There's some pictures. He looks like he's aged 30 years.
Yeah,
in some of them.
Yeah, oh yeah, and you're not wrong, dude. And some of them I do like.
Again, see, with the subtle dig there, the sleeper hit. He just told him he looked like he's aged 30 years, and Cyraxx is like, "Yeah, see, he's on my side. He's my friend. Thanks, bestie."
There's one dude the other day that's
like, if your past life is being bullied though, and you want to go back to how things were, then like you're saying basically that you want to be bullied, right?
No, I'm not saying I want to be. Oh my god, what I'm saying is that I want to be able to do stuff that I used to do without being attacked.
Well, you do stuff that you used to do,
but not without being attacked or stolen from, or ripped off from, or falsely reported for. Like say, like, for a prime example, let's say that I went on, just for a prime example, I'm not saying I'm going to, but let's say that I made a brand new Twitch today, and I went over there to start over new and show people that, like, hey, I'm not this evil piece of shit that everybody's making me out to be. I'm not this rage-filled ball of hate, and that I'm actually a chill person, and I'm not about that shit. Guarantee within minutes, you know, somebody will end up reporting it for false stuff. Like, they'll say, like, oh, he's ban evading, when I'm not ban evading.
You did get banned, though. You did get banned, right?
Well, that's the thing, though. I'm not necessarily ban evading. That's their excuse. That's their label.
Well, if you got banned and you return to the platform, then you're trying to evade the ban. Like, it's
well, that's the thing, though. Ban evading, that's the thing. People don't realize that ban evading is not a real thing. That's just their label that they stick on it to get away with, you know, getting someone banned that they don't necessarily like.
Well, I mean, so like a ban is supposed to be permanent, right?
Not necessarily.
Well, that's they say that it is. That, like, well, ban is supposed to be permanent.
Well, do you know how many people that get banned on Twitch that are allowed to start over?
Do you know how many people get away with doing a thing that they're not supposed to do? I should be allowed to get away with it too. That's what I'm upset about, Marty. Other people are getting away with crimes and I keep getting caught. It sucks.
On a new account and they don't get fucked with. It's actually a lot more common than you think. It really is. But the fact that people are being allowed to be like, oh, he's ban evading. We don't like him, so we're going to get him for ban evading. When I'm not ban evading, I'm simply trying to start over.
I'm not ban evading. I'm making other accounts that I'm not allowed to make because I got banned. And I'm trying to, like, what's the word for getting around that, getting away from it? I don't know. It won't come to mind. But I'm not ban evading. I'm not ban dodging. I'm ban renegotiating. I'm bad sneaking, you know?
On my life and show that, like, I'm not about this dumb shit, that I do take what I do seriously and that I do care about my people and that I do have fans that want to see me do good. Like, you can ask CIO. Just the other day, I was showing him a bunch of fucking messages from, like, what? At least, how many did I count, dude? Like 6, 7, 8 different people that were asking about, like, when am I going to be streaming again? When am I going to be releasing new music and this and that and the other? And I have to tell those people, unfortunately, I don't know. And I'm not saying that you had anything to do with it, but it's because of people like WordBoi and William that fucked me over so badly with a lot of my songs that I'm not able to really do anything, because I know the minute I go to release anything, they're going to try to fuck me over.
Well, now this is the other problem, Marty. You're depriving his diehard fans of their new Cyraxx music. I mean, how are you going to do that to these people? It's just not right. How are they going to get through their day without his lovely music? I mean, have you heard him serenade you? It wouldn't be right to keep that from the people, Marty.
Like, yo, CIA, how many times have you counted on a stream when I'm doing a cover show or I'm hanging out? Like, how many times have you seen people asking for me to play their favorite song, Street Racing Scene, and I have to tell them that, unfortunately, because of the whole copyright bullshit, even though we know it's all bullshit, that I'm not able to do that,
Yeah, I don't know. Tony Gunk just said at least 20.
Yeah.
Well, like they're like, so for example, like ban evasion, like you can say that it's not real, but like the letter of the law is that if you get permanently banned.
But that's the thing though. I was never permanently banned. That whole thing of me being permanently banned, that's literally just the people that are saying that, like, you know, WordBoi and William and all them, like, that's them trying to keep control over me. That's how they try to manipulate. That's how they try to control, because that's what they want. It's all a power trip. It's all just one big power trip for them. That's what it's really about, is they want control. They want to be able to judge what I do. They want to see me suffer. They don't want to see me do good. When CIA, how many times have I sat there and told you, and how many times have you heard me tell my mom, like, that I want to get away from this shit and show these people that I can do better?
Hang on, let me look at my notes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, at least three. At least three. I'm being sorry. A lot.
Right.
So,
but at the end of the day, dude, all I'm trying to do is get my life back to normal and show people that I'm not this evil piece of shit that I've been made out to be. I understand that I fucked up. I understand that I've done a lot of bad shit and maybe shouldn't have acted the way that I did. But at the same time, when you're drugged into a situation that you've never dealt with and you got people attacking you from all sides every fucking day, like, how are you supposed to react to that? That's literally, and I know I've said this a million times, but it's literally the best comparison out there. That's like handing a fucking kid a gun and telling him to go shoot the bad guys and not telling him who the bad guy is.
Why does it always come back to kids with you, Cyraxx? Even when you're making a metaphor about something that has nothing to do with children, it always comes back to kids. You're always talking about when you were in school, kids that are of school age. The one thing I know about Chance Wilkins is that he's got kids on the brain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's his prime directive, it's his driving factor, and he can make all these excuses about ice bullets and bullying and stress-induced eczema and all this other stuff, but we all know that at the end of the day, the real reason that nobody likes him is because we all know about the kids stuff. So that's going to be our coverage of the Goblin for today. Thank you guys for coming by again. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And until next time, you guys know the drill. Stay indoors, stay away from the Goblin, and have a good one.